the MDI, the market demand index, that shows it's, it's like out of the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's showing that we should be like the third highest amount of demand right now, but then you're not really seeing that necessarily materialize into higher rates anywhere. Rates are still pretty suppressed.
Right.
A lot of the, some of those market numbers, tender rejections and spot price levels and everything like that, those kind of yin and yang depending on the month. It feels like they get a little momentum for a month and they dip back, and then, the world's fall or the sky's falling down. So it's definitely a period of uncertainty, and tariffs, that's certainly not helping with some of that uncertainty. Are you guys have any insight into how you think that's going to play out here? Is it just going to be some back and forth and then ultimately come to agreements in places, or do you think there's going to be more long-standing actions in place?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question. I think we're probably at a point where we really don't have a good handle. I don't know if anybody really does, right? But I think what you said really hits it on the head, and that really drives home that having that uncertainty around them and what that timing might be is really what's going to drive the future of this. Yeah. And ultimately, it sounds a little weird to say, but it's to that point where the uncertainty, and we've kind of seen it with some weather events that have happened in the last, call it 3 to 6 months, but that uncertainty really is going to help drive volatility.
Yep.
Right. And that volatility is really going to lead us to what we might end up seeing in the future, which is some level of spikes in rates where spot rates come in a little stronger, and something that'll really help see drivers and carriers kind of benefit from that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, right, I mean, you look at the shipper side of that too, and it's, okay, well, how do I protect myself? And, I think at the place we're at today with the uncertainty that comes with where policy sits, it's, really trying to plan out how you can work through your inventory cycle accordingly.
Speaking of just how some customers are reacting, I've seen the full spectrum. As far as that, speaking of the uncertainty and the volatility of the handful that made a big dash and rush to get everything into the United States that they could in the last couple weeks, and ever since those talks first started, and then we just had a prospect reach out today based out of Ontario and said, hey, don't bother calling until these tariffs are lifted because we're not shipping anything into the United States. I mean, now there's some decisions being made now, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact that has on anything coming in. Particularly, I'm really interested to see what it's going to do down with the Mexico cross-border business, right, and all the rush everybody's made towards nearshoring, and then to have now tariffs in play that they maybe didn't expect, it certainly could change some plans somewhere. There's a lot of investment being made already, though, so it might just kind of have to just be flowing through.
Right. Yeah, and I think the other piece of that, too, that just as you speak through that kind of resonates with me is, you think about today even, and you have the talk about an increase or a second level of tariffs, right? You can kind of look through the list and see there are certainly pointed or specific items that are on that list. And it's a pretty long list, don't get me wrong, right? But, I think you might even see it more at call it more at a good level of, hey, I might not be affected today, and so maybe it does benefit me to get more across the border today before something might come around later, right?
Yep.
So you might see that mix, exactly what you said, where it's, hey, I'm just waiting because I am affected, versus, well, no, maybe I'm not affected yet, and I can actually get something across the border before something might come into place.
Yeah, because who knows what it's going to look like in 6 months, whatever.
Right, exactly.